Hello, I'm Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to show you how to make a simple beef stir fry. This is a great base recipe and you can adjust it any way that you want. First thing we're going to do is kind of make the sauce that we'll finish the dish with. This way it's ready. So we're going to start with a half a cup of beef stock, put it into a small bowl, and then we'll do about a quarter cup of soy. And then this is what's going to help the sauce thicken, about a tablespoon of cornstarch, and then about a quarter teaspoon of ginger, and that's up to you. You can add a little more, a little less if you want to have that stronger ginger flavor, you can do that. About a half teaspoon of garlic, and you can adjust that as well. And then 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and that can be adjusted if you want the sauce to be more or less sweet. And then you just simply have to whisk those together, and that's going to create the base sauce. It's important that we whisk it together to get the cornstarch in. The next step is going to be to actually saute the beef. Our next step is to saute the beef. For this, I'm just using an electric skillet because it's easy for the video. You could use that at home, or you could use a nice saute pan or even a wok if you have it. The idea is we're just going to brown the meat until it's done to the desired doneness that you want. If you want to take it all the way to well, or you want to take it just to a medium well, that's up to you. You can change up the protein on this. I'm using a flank steak, which has a real coarse open grain, and then I sliced it thin. Just make sure when you slice it, and you can even slice it thinner than this if you want, make sure when you slice it it's always perpendicular to the grain. But you can use a couple different other cuts of beef. You could also use other proteins. You could use chicken or pork or shrimp. You could definitely get creative with this recipe and creative with the sauces. So we're going to continue to cook this until the meat is thoroughly cooked to the temperature that we want. Alright, you will continue to cook the beef until it's to your desired temperature. If you want to take it to well, just don't take it over well because you don't want it to get tough. You can also season it. You could have seasoned it before as well. You could do, if you want a little bit of like a Montreal or something like that, or a touch of pepper, you can put that in, or you can put some garlic. You can do a little bit of salt. Just don't go heavy on the salt, because at the end you're going to add that soy sauce, and the soy sauce can be salty, so you want to make sure that you're not adding too much. So once your meat's the way you want it, what you're going to do is remove it from the pan. Once you remove the meat, you can start with the veggies. I'd like to put maybe a tablespoon of oil back in. I don't clean out the pan because those goodies are going to get cleaned up by the vegetables. So I start with the veggies that need a little bit longer to cook. So I'm going to put my onions in. And I'm also going to put in my carrots. And you can go crazy with the vegetables. You can mix them up. Use what you have in the house. Use whatever you want. But this is just kind of a start. So now you're going to saute these for a few minutes. As your onions and carrots start to cook, then you can add your peppers and your broccoli. And again, you can mix up the veggies. The idea is just to have a variety, and you really see that we're starting to get some color. We'll put in the broccoli. And then we're going to go ahead and let that cook for a minute or two. And the idea is you want your vegetables to be tender, but you want to have a little bit of a crisp to them as well. That's kind of what makes the stir fry. So we'll let these guys cook up. The last vegetable that I'm going to add are going to be the sliced water chestnuts. We put those in. And we're going to cook them. And like I said, we want the veggies to be tender, but we still want them to have just a little bit of a crisp to them. Once the vegetables have cooked, then you just have to return the meat to the pan and just kind of stir it all together. You can really start to see the colors, and if you'd be able to smell it, the aromas that come off of this. But that's what I love about this dish, all of the colors. Now we're going to go ahead and make that stir fry sauce. If you remember in the beginning of the video, I mixed up the beef broth and all of that together with the cornstarch. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. And it's going to come to a boil very quickly, and that's what we want. As soon as it comes up to a boil, That's what's going to make the sauce thick. And it's not, you know, a sauce, as you know, with stir fry, but it's something that is going to coat the meat and just keep everything really nice. And there you can see, as soon as it starts to coat and it starts to thicken, and everything looks great. And there you can see the finished product. We've got a bed of white rice. You could use white rice, or you could use fried rice, whatever you want to use, a brown rice. And then on top of that, I put the stir fry with the beef and the vegetables. And then I'm just going to garnish it with just a little bit of green onion here. If you have sesame seeds, you could use that as well. But there you go. There's your final product. So you can see how easy it is to make a stir fry. In this case, beef, or you could do any of the proteins that you want. Change up the veggies, change up the sauce, just however you want to do it. You can really become the chef of this recipe. So thanks for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you real soon right here at Mr. Polk's Kitchen.